Peace and love. Hope all is well. Hope you're feeling blessed and high vibrational. Now, I just came to film some zodiac sign readings for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. But as I've sat down, I'm feeling called to speak about more of a personal matter. Now, again, this is going to be on kind of the police force or the energy of the police force, and really it's more about a personal kind of scenario and realizations that I've been having and just being made aware of. Now, before I just start this, I just ask and just put the message out that whenever I come and speak on this channel, it's just about a deepening of understanding or coming to a place of better understanding one another and situations and how we can grow and kind of just bring more light and compassion to situations. Now, I've just been made aware of that. I don't really know how to start it or really how to phrase the beginning of what I want to say, but really I've just noticed a lot of darkness within the police force. And it's not nothing that's kind of a new realization or anything like that. It's very much something that I've always been aware of as a coloured child, a black child, or a black man. I've always just knew that about the police. Really, we're all brought, especially if you're an ethnic individual, we're all brought to kind of not be wary of the police, but to basically be wary of the police. You know, that there are good and bad in everything, but there's also good and bad in the police, and just because somebody has a role to protect doesn't mean that they will protect, you know. Now, sorry, that is so disgusting, but I can't have dry skin. Now, really, I could really talk about things on a very again, a personal level, but I could be going into detail about things, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep it kind of shallow. But really what I want to talk about is the manipulation of power, the manipulation of your job role, the manipulation of legislation. You know, right now I feel that me, myself, a few family members, just a few people close to me are being put in a corner where we are having to kind of defend ourselves, kind of for no reason really. But not just that, we're being put in a place where we are possibly having to kind of not fight the police, but go against the police in lawful ways, obviously. But when we have to go seek justice or seek kind of, again, understanding for ourselves, we have to do it in the most righteous way, in the most lawful way, whereas the police are kind of targeting people or going after people, bending the law, or fabricating the truth, or blatantly lying, and then on top of it not giving people a say. They are kind of holding meetings and not having the people that these meetings really do affect not be in them and making decisions that can be very detrimental to a whole family or a whole family unit or a whole family dynamic, and not giving kind of the right people the voice, taking people's voice away, literally taking people's voice away. You know, it gets to a point where the police are able to just say whatever they like, and your voice isn't taken into consideration, your account isn't taken into consideration, your truth isn't taken into consideration. Since when did you having a uniform or having a job role mean that your truth is more valid? When does your truth become more accurate? When I'm the one living this life, I'm the one experiencing this life, you know? How does your truth override mine when you just get to experience a moment or 50 seconds or a minute or just even a couple of days? Like, you don't live my life, so surely my words should count, or my emotions should count, or my account should count. And on top of it, when you're making decisions on behalf of people, you're not considering your role in the matter. You're not considering how the things that you are doing are causing kind of basically innocent people to feel distressed or to feel trauma or to even have effects of PTSD. And even after whatever aftermath you cause for people, and kind of nothing's come about, or your suspicions weren't correct, there's no ramifications for yourself for the trauma that you cause people, for the trauma that you cause people's younger siblings, or people's family members, or people's parents. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where the police have came to my house or went to one of my family members' house and no one's been disrespected. And again, when I'm speaking, energies call me to speak, and I'm always kind of placed in a neutral position in the saying on both sides people are disrespected. The police are disrespected as well when it comes to retaliation, because at the end of the day, and I'm not justifying anybody's behaviour, but when you come to somebody's house and you are fulfilling a job, why is it that everybody else in every other line of work has to keep a professional standard, but the police these days are allowed to say and do whatever? They're allowed to tell you to shut up, they're allowed to just basically just do whatever, push around their weight. Literally huffing and puffing whilst you're on the job, whilst you're in my house, whilst you're in my mother's house, and there's serious situations going on, but you're huffing and puffing and being disrespectful and being rude and or whatever. And no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to disrespect people's parents in front of their children, and then disrespect people's children in front of their parents, and then think that everybody must remain sanguine and remain zen. I just feel that it's going too far, and I never ever ever wanted to be involved in like, or just even my name be associated with the police, because I've seen quite a bit. I've seen quite a lot of injustice in terms of the police towards innocent people, or even not even. Let's not even focus on innocent people. Let's actually focus on criminals and bad people. They're still human beings, and they still deserve to be treated humanely. And not even humanely, they just deserve not to be disrespected. Because because people make wrong choices or do things that we don't agree with, that doesn't mean they deserve to be disrespected. That doesn't mean that it's justified that we can disrespect them or treat them less than because they didn't make decisions that we made or didn't make decisions that we think they should make. And I always say this, like, again, I'm not a perfect human being. I'm 21 years old. I've made mistakes, but obviously I don't break the law. Like, I'm not out here robbing or stealing or anything. I just stay to myself, work on my vibration, work on uplifting the vibration of planet Earth. And I just personally feel that when you are a innocent being and or just a normal person, you know, not necessarily focused on what you're doing wrong or even what you're doing good, you're just living and knowing that you're not trying to harm anybody, you know. But when you are an innocent person and you're just living, your life should never be disturbed in any way by the police or anybody or any other kind of authority. Let's say the police do come to raid your house, or and you're an innocent person, but there's somebody in the house that they are kind of suspecting or whatever, or they just have a warrant for them or whatever. Okay, fair enough, you may end up having to disturb my peace for a short moment, or you know, whatever, but I shouldn't be being disrespected. Nobody in the household should be disrespected. Our peace should be disturbed for a moment when you maybe kick off the door or whatever, or bang on the door, but other than that, there shouldn't be no animosity, no upset, no disrespect on both sides. You know, why is it that the police come and literally as soon as they come, they aggravate the situation? There's no respect in their voice. Their tone of voice is disrespectful. Just their tone of voice is disrespectful. And I honestly wish, you know, people could really see the things that are going on, because sometimes, even though I am this wise person and I'm this kind of this wise and intellectual person, like, and I'm spiritual, like, I still have these moments of realization that, wow, there is still a long way to go. We are still reliving a lot of the things of the past. It is a constant cycle. slavery is still existing, and not just for black people, or it's right now it's existing for everybody. When Bob Marley said, remove yourself from mental slavery, he's not just talking about black people. He's talking about everybody that's oppressed. He's talking about the human race as it. His whole message was oneness. Therefore, when he's talking about releasing yourself and releasing ourselves from mental slavery, he's speaking about everybody. Everybody being a slave to the matrix. Everybody being a slave to the system. You know, a lot of these officers are feeling that they are doing the most righteous work, but I know that in their heart they feel that something's not right. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying all the officers. A lot of officers do a lot of great work. A lot of officers just are acting from their heart center, are acting to make difference, are acting to make change in a positive way. But also, I'm hearing there's a lot of officers that have sheep mentality, that just do as they're told, that basically take orders instead of being the order. You know? There's just a part of me that I don't know, I just feel called to speak. I feel that if we speak from our heart, we can create change. And it's not about creating more separation or saying you've done this wrong and you should be punished for it. But equally, when you're in a position that you are out there seeking justice for people, then equally you are to be made accountable as well for your own actions and for the damage that you cause people. Where's the repercussions for the lies and the fabrications in your reports or in the things that you're saying? That doesn't make sense to me. But I quickly just want to go back to disrespect. Why is it that every other person in every other line of work has to keep a professional standard but the police don't? When I used to work on the phones for Sky, people used to come on the phone, say the most horriblest things, call you every name under the sun, tell you to suck your mother or F off, or just call you all these just ridiculous names just for no reason, but I still have to remain professional. Why is it that when people go to drive-thrus and the customer's rude, that the person at the checkout or at the till still has to remain professional and polite? Why is it that when the person comes to fix your washing machine and you may just be irritated with them just because you having a bad day, or just because maybe your kids are annoying you, so you may just be a little bit passive-aggressive at this repairman? Why is it that they are still able to remain professional and not be disrespectful and not aggravate a situation, but the people that kind of are meant to keep order, the people that are meant to be our very righteous, meant to be our role models, they can't seem to keep their aggression intact. They can't seem to keep a professional standard. You know, when the police come here, I am very much so vocal, not in terms of destructive. I'm vocal in terms of speaking from my heart centre and trying to be heard in terms of I just want them to see the injustice in their perceived righteous actions, you know? And I know that many of them do see it, because I see it in their heart, I see it in their eyes, and something that we can't deny is truth. We can't deny truth, and we can't deny feeling truth. And also what we can't deny is that how our body reacts to things. When we absorb something, a piece of knowledge, our body literally, it's like when we have a thought, before we've even thought about that thought, our body's already having a chemical reaction. Our whole demeanour is changing and cultivating based upon the thoughts and the impressions and the energetic impulses that we're receiving. So when you are speaking truth and somebody feels truth, you can recognise that they felt it straight away. You can recognise that their systems felt it straight away. I see it in their beingness. I know that for many of these police officers, their morals do not align with their job role. But their mind keeps them stuck in the job role. Their mind enables them to detach, to become inhumane, basically. Because when you are able to detach from another human being and still put people through suffering or injustice when you know something is wrong but you're trying to follow a procedure, that is inhumane to me. To really detach your feeling from another person, that's almost like detaching your feeling from yourself, because I am you and you are me, and we are a reflection of one another. And equally, these people do not understand that when you are causing harm to certain people, regardless of whether you feel that you are righteous or not, when you know it and your morals are not aligned with it on an energetic level, there is still karma that you will face from that. when you put your morals aside and you do something that you know doesn't feel right, there is karma to face from that. And it's not necessarily just karma, but karma is the energy that you put out is what comes back to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but in this sense, it is bad. But I just feel that as a people, as everyday normal people, there's only so much that we can do or say. You can see all over the internet the injustice that is going on with the police, and I know that that's probably not even a great representation of the police or who the police are as a force. However, the evidence is there. There's a lot of darkness, and there's a lot of change that needs to occur in the force, in the police force. And I just feel that eventually there's only so much that people take until people start to take things into their own hands. And that's what you don't want to happen. I can't remember what it was, but I did a reading the other day, and it was like, I can't remember which guy. I do many readings with a lot of energies, and one of them was saying like, if we don't acknowledge our darkness will present itself. And it was saying like, and ways that can happen in an energetic sense is it can present itself in anger, in depression, now I'm hearing like riots and revolutions, and just the upset, the anger, it begins to manifest itself. It begins to make itself present. There needs to be changes because it's going too far. And people react upon emotion. And it's going to take either the police to recognise their wrongdoing and start to make changes within themselves, or it's going to come to a place where I just feel like the people could start to turn on the police. And that's where we don't want it to end up. And I feel like that's why energy is calling me to speak, because people need to speak. People need to be made aware, because we all can change if we want to. We all can have a way of living. We all can live in unity if we want to. But you can't pick and choose when to be righteous. You can't pick and choose when to follow the law 100%. There is no righteousness in following the law 90%. There is no righteousness in bending the law. There is no justice if you have to bend the law to get that justice, because that is not lawful, therefore that is not justice. One thing energy keeps presenting to me is that, does it sound right? And this hasn't got anything to do with like anything that I'm going through, but they just was presenting it to me. And they were saying, does it sound right that the police, or just in a, basically, let me just say it. Does it sound right that the police will say to somebody, that they know is a criminal, if you tell me this on this criminal, I will let you go. Or I will give you shorter time. Which part of that sounds like justice? Which part of that sounds righteous to you? I will let one criminal go to get another criminal. Why not have the criminal that you have? Why not have the criminal that you have evidence on? But instead you will get 2 or 3 or 4 criminals that you know and you have evidence on to get one criminal. Again, which part of that sounds righteous? Which part of that sounds lawful? I don't know. And again, I'm not here to judge. I'm not God himself. Collectively, we all create the energy of God to some level, to some extent. But I don't get to decide or make the judgments. But, you know, I'm here to voice and just express what energy calls me to express. But I just feel like there needs to be change. Just from my life and just from what I observe and just the way I see the fabrications that the police create and make, it's very, very shocking and it's very disturbing, to be honest with you. And again, I'm not trying to make anyone seem bad, but I've had very cool moments with the police, and I'm not sure anything has really, I don't know. To be honest with you, sometimes I'm just very shocked and lost for words right now. Like, my words are just disappearing because I'm literally just flabbergasted, to be honest. But the lies, it's just like, when I was a child, I used to really, to be a police officer was my dream. This was when I was very, very young. Like, my mum bought me one of those electric police motorbikes, and it just, I just used to think it would be an amazing thing to just be a helper of the planet. But like, as I've got older, I've realised that the police are not a loving force. And I'm not trying to say that as a whole, it's just my one experience. But the police are not a loving force. Really, it's almost like the people that are in the NHS, they should be police officers. People that still have compassion. People that actually still want to help these criminals to rehabilitate and to be better people, instead of going out and seeking to punish people. It's just, I don't know. I see that there just needs to be huge changes in the police force and in the justice system. It's having a very big effect on us collectively, hugely. But I thank you for joining me on this read, or this expression. Thank you for being present with me, for this channeling, this connection, this expression. Peace and love. Ashe.